Good afternoon, everybody. The Santa Cruz Valley Unified School District Number 35 Governing Board calls this meeting to order on July the 28th, 2026 at 5 p.m. in the Governing Boardroom District Office, 570 Camino Lito Galindo, Rio Rico, Arizona. Can you please stand for the pledge? Mr. Beach, will you please? Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. Roll call, Ms. Alma de la Riva, Mr. Brad Beach,
Present.
Mr. Rene Ramirez. Okay, absent. Mr. Ben, Pedro Guerrero, I'm sorry, Mr. Guerrero, sorry, and me, Lourdes Vasquez, we do have a quorum. Adoption of the agenda.
I'd like to request that we remove the consent agenda item number 12. Page 2, Lisa Monge, instructional team leader, the incorrect name was placed, so we'll have to bring back the correct.
Oh, okay, all right, okay, so do we have a motion?
Motion to remove item 12 on the consent agenda.
And approve?
No, approve the agenda.
Approve the agenda with.
Okay.
And approve.
Move to approve the agenda, change of item 12.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion passes. Call to the public? No call to the public, and we are moving on to the presentations, and this will be lifeguard recognition. Mr. Verdugo.
I'd like to honor her. This is our recognition for all the hard work that our lifeguards have done this summer, so we appreciate all of their work. And I know I'm just going to share a few items.
Hello, good afternoon, Madam President, governing board members, Mr. Verdugo and Dr. Lunderville, and families and guests, and lifeguards as well. As we look forward to the beginning of a new school year, we also wanted to take a moment to celebrate yet another successful summer at the SCV 35 Aquatic Center. This summer, our lifeguard team consisted of 25 Rio Rico High School students and alumni, along with one student from Nogales Unified School District. He's not here today, but we still love him. We are happy to have many of them here with us today. Throughout this season, these young men and women have demonstrated exceptional teamwork, leadership, professionalism, and dedication. They served as instructors, mentors, first responders like Mr. Guerrero, probably not to the level of Mr. Guerrero, but still, and all while representing SCV 35 with pride and maturity. This summer, more than 2,000 individuals visited the Aquatic Center, a big increase from last summer, and over 500 students participated in our swim lesson program. These opportunities are made possible through the continued support of our governing board members, and we sincerely thank you for investing in programs that make a meaningful impact in our community. On a personal note, it's been very incredible to watch this team grow throughout the summer. I have seen them support one another, rise to unexpected challenges, and lead with confidence. I would especially like to recognize our lead lifeguards, Mr. Hunter Thompson and Ms. Jackie Santos. If you guys want to stand up really quick so we know who you are.
Oh, all right.
For their outstanding leadership and for setting such a positive example for the rest of the team. I know I was up here busy doing stuff at the office a lot, so they really took the leadership role this summer. So today we're proud to recognize each of our lifeguards with a certificate of appreciation and a couple goodies. Just thank you all for a very outstanding summer. You guys did amazing. Congratulations on a job well done. And to our governing board members, it's been an honor to oversee the lifeguard and the Aquatic Center. Over the past couple of years, I'm incredibly grateful for your continued support and trust, which has allowed me to provide opportunities that not only serve our community, along with our governing board members and Mr. Verdugo as well, but also help develop leadership, responsibility, and confidence in our students. So thank you guys very much. Before we move on to comments, I'll have the lifeguards stand up one by one, say your name, how long you've been a lifeguard, and just a couple words to your families and our governing board members. We'll start with Robert on that side.
My name's Robert. This is my 3rd year lifeguarding, and I'm just really appreciative of being able to do this again and hope to come back next year. And all of my coworkers who I see as friends and some even closer. And yeah, I'm just thankful to be here.
I'm Spencer Thompson. I am a 2-year lifeguard here at Riverco, and I had a really fun year this year at the Aquatic Center. And just want to thank everyone for making my job way easier. And yeah, that's really it.
Hi, my name is Mark Navarro. I'm a second year lifeguard, and I had a really fun time this summer and last summer as well. Everything is new every single day, a new challenge, new achievements and everything. So it's a really nice job to have, and I wouldn't want to have another job. And thank you for everyone else here and all the other lifeguards that aren't here for being so awesome and great coworkers. And thank you. That's it.
Alex. It's my first year teaching as a lifeguard, and I really enjoyed it, teaching all the kids and also working with my lifeguards. Everyone was like really nice, and thank you. I enjoyed it.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Santos, and I've been a lifeguard for 3 years and then 2 years here at the Rio Rico High School. One thing I really enjoyed about working here at the high school is that it's a great opportunity to make a lot of new relationships, and it's a great way to start working, I guess, like in the job force.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jimena, and this is my first year. I do want to thank Ms. Audra Bailo and the governing board for this opportunity. I had lots of fun, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity. I really want to thank my parents so much for allowing me to pursue this, and my coworkers as well for being here always and being so trusting. So thank you.
Hello, my name is Vanessa Nicholas. This is my second year lifeguarding here. This was my first job. I really enjoyed it, and it's taught me so much. I love teaching all the little kids and seeing how much they learn. I also want to thank Audra for really just giving me this opportunity to do this. She's done so much for us, and her work does not go unnoticed.
Hi everyone, my name's Addison Hicks. This was my first year lifeguarding. It was honestly just like an amazing opportunity given by Audra and everyone to learn. Like it was my first job, so being able to like be with like I know all these people, so just to be in a comfortable position for the first time, it was really fun. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Laishin Tunsa. This is my first year lifeguarding as well. It was my first job ever, and all I can say is I'm so grateful to my coworkers, and it sounds weird calling them my coworkers because they become close friends, and Audra for the amazing opportunity that she gave us this summer. What I can say is thank you guys.
Anything from our board, Ms. Alma de la Riva?
Yes, to all of you for your hard work, time, effort, and dedication at the pool. Really, thank you. I know our community enjoys being able to use our pool very much, especially during these very hot days in the summer. And I know as a parent that it puts us at ease knowing that we have responsible individuals such as yourselves to be out there looking out after our kids, and just being out there and looking out for them puts us parents at ease. So thank you for all that you do, and we hope you return. Those newcomers, we definitely do hope that you return next year. And thank you for the people that have been there before and are returning. Thank you to you as well. And Audra, of course, thank you to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Beach?
Yeah, thanks, Audra, for overseeing the program, and not only that, for all you do for our community and our school district. To our lifeguards, thank you for being well-trained. I take it they're well-trained because no one drowned it, right?
Oh, God.
Good? All right, so we're good there. It's always nice for a parent to drop off their child, go to the pool, knowing that they're in good hands. You guys are well-trained. You got a good boss right there. And just knowing that puts them at ease. So thank you for everything that you've done to our community. Some of you guys mentioned the swim program. My granddaughter was in it. Something about them and the way I trained her, because I tried to like teach her how to swim. So I jumped with her into it, and she
Oh.
clinged on to me like a spider monkey and yelling and crying. We give them to these guys and she's happy. I held my breath, I went under, and now she's swimming like a dolphin. So I appreciate that. Yep, and thank you for all you did this summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Guerrero.
Yeah, I just want to echo what they said. Audra, thank you so much for the program and for the time and dedication, not only for that, but for everything you do for the district. For the lifeguards, you know, it's awesome that you guys got to learn a lot of stuff, a lot of key stuff that you take with you for the rest of your lives. And giving up part of your summer. I know some of you probably had to get up early, do a lot of training and stuff like that, and taking the job serious. It's something that's super important for, you know, first responders. You guys are a critical piece for the chain of survival for people. The interventions and the early things that you guys do really make a huge, huge difference if there's an event or an incident. So we appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, again, echoing everything that everybody said, you know, Audra, like one of the young ladies said, your job, okay, what you do is not taken for granted, okay? We know how hard you work. We know how dedicated you are, not just with them, but with everything else within our district, okay? You know, thank you for everything that you do. It's in the silent mode, you know, that where you're out there, we do notice you, okay? So thank you so very much. You know, to the lifeguards again, you know, like Ms. De La Riva said, it's so, you know, for us as parents or grandparents or, you know, whatever, to know that your child, your little one is, you know, in a place where they're safe, that makes the whole difference, okay? And your dedication, you know, to the kids and, you know, being just nice to them, not like grandpa over there, okay? Because easy, you know, because he wanted to teach them, you know, the wrong way, okay? But, you know, the hard way, like they taught him, okay? But, you know, yeah, you know, teaching the kids and again, you know, these are skills that the kids are gonna be taking forever because they're life skills, okay? That's what it is, you know. Once they're not afraid of the water when they're younger, and then they keep going, and then it becomes like you guys, you know, that you already know, you know, what you're doing. So thank you so much. And to the parents, thank you for allowing your kids, you know, to be part of such an important, you know, event and, you know, with our children, because we do trust them to you guys. So thank you very, very much for everything you do. Thank you, Audra.
Group picture, if that's okay.
Yeah, just before we take the picture, I want to thank everybody for all their hard work and swimlessness. What was the final number? The number of swimlessness I think we increased from previous year.
Yes, last year it was just over 500. This year was 530.
Oh, wow.
So again, we were great job. So thank you for that. Also want to thank the county for their support because they're a partner with us. They assisted the funding for the summer program to allow us to do that. So I just wanted to make sure that we got to the county as well.
Yeah, and one other thing is that I know that the weather didn't help us in some instances. We probably would have had more, okay, but you know, but the weather was good.
And the frogs.
And the frog. Yes, that comes with it. Yes. Okay, Mr. Verdugo, you're gonna take a picture with them? Picture.
We can move back just a little bit. Move back just a little bit.
Two rows. No.
Addie, go to your left a little bit. There you go. I guess one. I'll get a couple.
Shannon.
That's awesome. You want to take any?
There you go. Those for like, hacen una carnita asada. Keeps it warm. Only cold for so many.
Hold the smile, hold the smile.
Hold it.
I need you guys.
Don't breathe, don't breathe. Okay. You're gonna give them the awards or? Okay. Oh, okay. I think you're the one from Nogales, right?
No, he didn't.
The one from Nogales.
Ramon.
Robert.
You're the only one that didn't say your last name. What's your last name?
Roberto Cota.
Thank you. I thought he was from Nogales, but he didn't say his last name. I'm sorry. Anyway, all right, move. Do I good to go?
Really?
Huh? We'll wait. Okay.
Yeah, one more.
Okay, come on. Thank you. Thank you. All righty, moving on, standard-based, learning and reporting, Mr. Verdugo.
Thank you. I'd like to invite Ms. Padilla up to discuss standards-based learning and reporting, also known as grading. So we have really worked hard in the district to educate our staff and our community about what standards-based learning and reporting is. I know that the board gets questions, and so we wanted to make sure that you were also, I mean, we have done presentations previously, but again, it's always good to revisit, especially as we have that haven't been through the process before, so that we can, again, just continue to update the board and educate the community on what it actually means. So we'll turn over to Ms. Padilla.
Good evening, Madam President and members of the Board of District Administration. Tonight I'll be reviewing just what it is, how it works, but also a little bit of how we got there, because we didn't just wake up one day and decide, let's change things. So that way you kind of have that backstory too. So as we implement our new strategic plan, I have been intentional about sharing the alignment of whether I'm facilitating a training or tonight giving a presentation of aligning our plan to what we're learning about. So our community identified priority, our first one, is academic achievement, which is ensuring that all students make academic progress and succeed in acquiring the knowledge, skills, and competencies outlined in academic standards. So us using a standards-based aligned system works really well for that priority, because that was academic achievement was the number one. I'm pointing in the wrong direction, Audra. Okay, so just so we also have a common understanding of what are academic standards, these include the knowledge, understanding, skills that need to be taught and learned, and they're outlined by the Department of Education. And it's so that students are ready to succeed in credit-bearing college entry courses, the workplace, or military service. So all of our courses in our district are aligned to state academic standards. Why report on these standards? So a few reasons. So our schools and districts in general are responsible for teaching these standards, and it's what our students are expected to learn. So by reporting what they're expected to learn, right, then it's an alignment. What are we teaching? What are they learning? How are they doing? A through line there. Reporting on the standards show how well students are learning what they're expected to know and be able to do. And then it also helps our students, families, and teachers identify strengths and areas for growth so we know where they need more support. One thing that was interesting, we had years of a standards-based task force comprised of teachers from across our district, some of our site leaders, and I can only speak for myself, but I was surprised to hear that there's no research backing the grading that we're most familiar with, 0 to 100%, that it's best for student learning. So it's a little shocking because it's one of those things we just do because we've always done it. And so one of the things that really came out of the years of our research and implementation are a few best practices in grading so that we are using what research says is best to support learning. So the first one, most important, is grades should reflect what students can know or what they know or can do relative to their academic standards. We don't want to just make it up and have that's Mr. Beach's expectation, Ms. Vasquez's expectation. No, this is the expectation for 8th grade science. Okay. Use the most recent and consistent evidence of learning. That grades should be based more on recent demonstration of understanding than earlier attempts, right? We're going to assume students learn more as they have more time and more exposure and more practice. And then finally, we need to use clear scales and use a limited scale. Often 0 through 4 is what districts who use this type of system opt to use, as 0 through 4. Sometimes you see 0 to 3 or 0 to 5. And that's tied to clear descriptions of learning. So I'm assuming we're all familiar with 0 to 100%, right? Which, when you think about it, there's 101 levels with that, so we have a lot of gradations. It'd be kind of similar if we were to measure the parameter of this room in millimeters, when maybe yards or meters or feet, right, could be more appropriate. So with learning, really thinking about if we have 101 levels, what's the difference between an 80 and 84? It's kind of hard like to discern that. So by shrinking those levels, we can actually describe what students know. I did include sources that we used as our task force, or just so you know where this research is coming from. And if you ever do want to read on it, we have books in our PD library that you guys are welcome to borrow. I'm not going to go over all of the columns in this timeline, but I do want you to see that we started in school year 2020 with this idea, with a task force of how can we, align our grading and reporting to what we're teaching and what our students need to learn. And so you guys can see we had a couple of year zeros. What that means is we didn't change our grading system right away. We wanted to take time to really understand what are we doing, have a plan. And so I'm going to go to the next one. So you can see we had multiple years there. Going into this upcoming school year that starts next week, in elementary, it will be our 5th year that we have updated our standards-based reporting. And in high school, it will be our 4th year. So if you think about like our seniors who are starting their 12th grade year, they have known this since 8th grade. Our 5th graders have known this their whole time because our kindergarten has actually always done this. Okay, so it's been going on for a few years, but we also had years leading up to it. And Lourdes, you might even remember too, when we dug into our assessments and our standards even before.
Yeah. And that was also with COVID, right? That was
Yes.
when the kids were at home and stuff like
Right,
that.
but we didn't do this type of grading when they were at home. We just started, like the adults, we started meeting as a task force as part of our 301 PD system. So yeah, we couldn't change one more thing on them when they were learning at home.
Yeah.
So that, just so you know a little bit of that timeline. So now I'm gonna get into probably what you're curious about. So how does the grading work? So the first thing, and I had mentioned, right, with the research that supports that grades should be based on what students know and do. So our grades are based on the quality of our students' learning evidence, and we're using a scale 0 through 4. So again, I already mentioned, right, the scale we're most familiar with, 0 to 100. And then a student's grade in that system is typically based on the points that they earn, right, that they get over the course of that marking period, divided by the points that were available. So with what we have implemented, we're using our district scale that has just those 4 levels. And we're really looking for the student's quality of their learning evidence. So first, we look at level 3 is proficient. This means that the student is meeting the standard, what it says in our state standards. A level 4 is extending. They have a deeper application, an advanced understanding or skill set with that. Level 2 developing is when our students have foundational skills. They might know the simpler procedures involved with that, but they're not meeting the standard yet. And then level 1 emerging is the student is showing some, like very few of the learning that's expected in level 2 or level 3. And then we have no evidence. It's not a proficiency level, but if you were to enter an NE mark for no evidence in one of our grade books, there is a 0 behind that, but we are counting it as like no evidence yet. We are hoping that the student is going to take advantage of more opportunities to demonstrate their learning. So that's just our generic scale. What we have for all of our standards are standard proficiency scales. So we take that 4-3-2-1 scale that you just saw, which was developed by our standards-based task force, and our teachers have developed scales that say, okay, for this particular science standard, what does proficient look like? What does extending look like? That way, that helps the teacher with their lesson planning so that I'm, designing targeted lessons. Our students can access these. They're available publicly on our website as well. We don't want it to be a mystery of what the kids are supposed to know or be able to do. And you guys might have heard we do like a TLA summer event every year. I'm sure you saw pictures. this is a type of document our teachers get together and they'll revise them. You know, if they didn't make sense or they were overly complicated, that's the type of work we do. We come together. These are living, breathing documents. The next part is that our grades, which are, we still say grades, but they are proficiency levels, that they're based on more recent evidence of learning. So here's an example. And what in Synergy, our gradebook software, we're able to look at the most recent evidence of learning. They have an aggregation method, which is like the calculation for grading. It's called decaying average. It sounds like a weird name. I remember Mr. Beach making fun of the decaying average. But what it will do is it will take the students' most recent evidence of learning for a and count that as 60% of their standard score, and their previous score is worth 40%. And it'll keep doing that when a student has new evidence. So the teacher's not having to like wait anything. The grade book will handle that. So here's an example of what that looks like. Very simple standard, determine the main idea of a text. That's in several of our grade levels. So if a student's first learning evidence shows they're at a level 2, their next evidence shows a 3, the next one shows a 4, their overall standard proficiency level is going to show it a 3.4 because they have increasingly shown that they are starting to grasp that concept more. And I'm going to show you a grade book and what a student's grade book looks like too, so you can see it in action.
Yes. So, so I see the 2, the 3, and the 4, and then, but how did you come up, sorry, to the, with the 3.4?
That's that decaying average. So it's gonna when the student first had the 2, their standard proficiency level would be a 2 on September 1st.
Okay.
Then they did their work on September 4th. So then they're going to have the decaying average is going to come into play there. And it's going to take the 3 is going to be worth 60% of their standard score. And the 2 is going to be worth 40%. Then when the student gets that 4, now their prior standard proficiency level is worth just 40%, and that 4 is worth 60%. So we're trying to take in the more recent evidence of learning, but it was also very important to our task force that students aren't just fluffing off their early work and like, I'll just do the last thing. And so these are still counting, but it's going to take the more recent and count it more. So in grades 6 through 12, we start to bring all of their standards together, and we have course proficiency levels in grades 6 through 12. And these are reported so that we can give like an overall summary of learning for a course. And the course proficiency level is calculated by averaging all of the student standards. So I just showed you within a standard, we're looking for more recent evidence of learning. But if, let's say, a student is expected to learn 8 standards in this first semester, we're going to average their 8 standards together. And in this case, the student's course proficiency level would be a 3.3. So that's just all of those scores added up together divided by 8. Also for 612, we then take that course proficiency level and it's correlated to a corresponding letter grade. This helps us connect to GPA. You're going to see in an upcoming slide that our GPA hasn't changed, transcripts haven't changed. So remember we saw the example of the 3.3 course proficiency level. So a 3.3 would correlate to a B. Okay. But now let's say we have a student who's like, well, I want an A. What do I have to do, miss, for an A? The student can go in their grade book, or the teacher, if they can go and look and see the exact standard or standards they're struggling with. And you can see, well, you need to show deeper learning of this particular standard. So all of those course proficiency levels connect to an overall letter grade.
So the kids are allowed to go into their grade book and check out what their
student view. Yeah, they
like a student view.
Yeah, they have it.
It's not necessarily the teacher's grade book or anything like that. Okay, I was like.
For their individual self.
For their individual.
But yeah, they can go into student view and they have a grade book button so they can see what their grade book. Yeah. Good question.
Yeah, because I was like.
Yeah, not everybody's grade.
Yeah, no, just their, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, their own, of course, yeah. But even their own, you know, and there's no way that they can, you know, manipulate it or play with it, or, I mean, you know,
Parent can see this.
then the parent can see the same and, okay.
I'm gonna show you what that looks like.
Hey, real quick, can you go back to the other slide?
Yes.
When it transfers to an A on the grade book, does it still show a percentage though?
No, it'll show like 3.6.
Okay. It'll show the rubric, 0 through 4.
In the student's grade book, like they won't see necessarily, well, there's some views where they can see the correlation, but they might see, and I'm gonna show you an example, but they might see 3.6A. They don't see this whole table right there, but we do have it in their handbook and we have it in information that's public. Yeah, and I've noticed a lot of our teachers will post this and their proficiency scale. This is a teacher view of the grade book. And I have names cut off on the left-hand side. You're not seeing student names, right? But that's where they would go. But just so you can see what a teacher sees. So what we have here is we have at the top the standards. They're kind of banded together. And so if we look at 9, 10, L5, the blue one in the middle, you see a 2 in parentheses. That means there's 2 assignments tagged to that standard.
That same one standard.
To that same one standard. You can see the students' first scores from January 29th, their second scores from February 9th. And then the darker blue column, that's that standard proficiency level I talked to you about, where we use the decaying average to get to that. So that's their standard proficiency level. Then I talked to you guys about the course proficiency level. Remember the average of all of their standards. So those would be those darker colored columns of the standards. So that's the average and then the course letter grade. So that's what the teacher can see. For our students, they have a couple views. There's layers, like they can click on things. If you see anything on this screen that's blue, it means it's a link and our kiddos can go deeper. But I just am showing you 2 kind of general screens that they would look at. The first one on the top left is their landing page in their grade book. And this is where they'd see all of their classes. They'll see their letter grade, their course proficiency level, and then those bars are the standards, and they can hover their mouse over it and see the standard code. And then when they click on the actual class, that's the second picture, they can see their assignments and the standards that go for each assignment. All right, and then the next layer, right, of reporting would be our report cards. Our elementary report cards are customized and we actually make updates to them almost annually. ADE just released essential standards for grades 3 through 8 last year. So Lourdes, remember when we spent years prioritizing our standards, now ADE has given essential standards. So we did make some updates to our grades 3 through 5 report cards last year. These were developed with our teachers. And so on our elementary report cards, you see the content area, and then you see a proficiency level for each row on that report card. Again, a 4, 3, 2, or a 1. Our report cards also include absences or if students participate in special programs. Our 6th through 12th grade report cards, these include our students are going to see their standard proficiency levels. No assignments, right? Because that's not the point of a report card, but they're going to see their standard proficiency levels. They're going to see their course proficiency level, right? The average of all of those. And they're going to see their overall letter grade. And that letter grade at the top is what transfers to their transcript.
And the parents are able to see this, that's what you say. And then I can see that it's in Spanish in case they don't understand. Oh, yeah. See, I never saw this. Never seen it.
And then the GPA, if you're familiar with like typical GPA, that is what we have in place. So an A is 4 grade points, a B is 3, and then you can see just the F is 0 and they're not getting credit, not passing the class. We have, excuse me, we have on our district website resources, we have our scales, the link to our standard proficiency scales, links to report card files, videos about this in English and Spanish. We put everything in English and Spanish. So if you're like, oh, you can't remember a certain thing, like you guys can go on there and see, you know, anything that you'd want to dig into and learn more about on there. That's everything I have.
Maybe before we let you go, so what are some of the questions that teachers have as far as the difficulty in implementing this? Because I think the board gets that question sometimes, so like it's I don't know if there are any specifics, because no one ever shares specifics with me.
Right. Well, we kind of get both. We get like, oh my gosh, it's simpler. And then sometimes people will say it's more challenging. And honestly, we find that with anything we implement. We'll work individually, like when a teacher is like, oh, I'm having a hard time with this, like our team and our instructional coaches at our school sites and our principal go to support them. I think, I remember last year hearing, oh, a lot of kids are settling for 2s. And it would be similar to like if kids were settling for not an A in the last piece. Yeah. And so it's like, sometimes we just have to discern, like, is this this system, or is this like a kid thing that we constantly see? And that's where we have to make sure that if they're not going to push themselves, then we need to be the ones that push them, that we need to ask the parents to help push them. And so I think that was maybe the biggest one from last year. And it's usually it's honestly a lot of technical things in the grade book. How do I do this? I can't find this, because the grade book was a big technical update for everyone. That's probably the one we respond most to, is more of like that type of question.
At the end of the 9 weeks at the high school level, the NEs, do they go in as zeros, or do they have until Christmas to master the standard? Like, when's the cutoff date?
Yeah, so we actually only do semester report cards now. When we moved to this system, we stopped doing the quarter report cards, because for kids to really have that chance to get to a 4, you need more, like it takes longer. We're actually asking them to do have deeper evidence of learning. And so yeah, December and May is when they'd get these report cards. And if a student has a 0 for their standard proficiency level, that 0 is going to get averaged into their overall grade.
Okay. So they got, say, for instance, the first 3 weeks of school, they have an NE. They have until the end of the semester to change that. If they say, you know what, I'm gonna push that aside, I'll get to it later. Or do teachers have cutoff dates? Like,
yeah, the teachers, so we developed reassessment guidance in our task force. And so our guidance is that the teacher communicates all deadlines for everything. A lot of teachers will ask for it within like our learning check progress report period, 4 to 5 weeks. But honestly, a lot of that has to do with the standards. Some of our standards continue, and some of them are, oh, this is the first, 5 weeks. And so that's where the teacher communicating, this is by when I need to see your learning evidence. That's what's crucial.
And Ms. Willis, could you explain how that applies to athletics as far as the eligibility goes?
Yeah, so we use the learning checks as our eligibility checks. So when the learning check comes out, that is our eligibility time period. So students who are not meeting that 2.0 or above, they are deemed ineligible. So at that point, they have that week grace period to work with their teachers, to work, on improving their grade and getting it to become eligible. If students are eligible, then they're eligible for that 3-week period or 4-week, depending on the learning check period. So that's how that eligibility is set up. So it's very similar to how when we had, the progress reports. That's the one that sets off that eligibility check. But students will have the opportunity to just go back in there and continue to work, but they will remain ineligible until they get to making adequate academic progress, right? Which will be indicated by that 2.0. In some cases, if students are making that effort, the teacher would have some discretion to say that student is really working towards it, and they can let the athletic director, Mr. Laughlin, and then that student becomes, because they make that academic progress in their class. So definitely does provide a lot of opportunities for those student athletes to become eligible with it, but it does hold them accountable at every learning check.
What were some of the biggest challenges switching over?
I think the time that it takes to switch a system like that. And fortunately, I mean, gosh, we all work together to we need another early release, we need this, and we were just constantly adjusting the calendar. Also having the task force through our 301 program, and our high school task force went longer than we thought we would. And so I just feel fortunate that we kind of have that flexibility of like, we have this need. So yeah, I think the time, and then also, you know, every year we're onboarding new people, right? And so then it's making sure, because I don't know about you guys, but sometimes the farther I get along in knowing something, I forget what it's like to not know it. And so then it's like, come back. You got to come back, Meg, every July, right? And teach someone how it works from the ground up. And so we were just doing that last week with our new teacher orientation. And so, but it has to be ongoing. We have to keep coming back and looking at our scales. Every time we send a learning check report card, information goes out. Here are the resources to help understand it in print, in video. And so I think it's just making sure that you're constantly providing that support and information.
As we move forward, do you see any challenges as far as curriculum is concerned? Like we do have one-to-one computers right now. I know every 5 years we used to have to get computers. That was a big challenge for us. So we went to classroom sets as well as a curriculum that sort of base. I taught biology. I know they have curriculum out there for standard-based learning. Is that in the mix to switch over, like maybe get curriculum for science, standard-based learning, books with computers, or what's the future look like?
Yeah. On all of the curriculum we've had, I want to say it's worked actually pretty well. And most curriculum providers also acknowledge that many districts are moving to a 0 through 4. So when you look at their rubrics, they'll have rubrics that we can use. So that's what's really great, is like, it's not such a different concept anymore. I can't really think of one curriculum that we have that is like, it wouldn't work with it. And then every time we adopt a curriculum, we make sure we have, if there's a consumable, we're getting the consumable every year for our kiddos, and it comes with online access. If it's more like a textbook, like what you might see in a high school science classroom, and it's not consumable, there's a class set that's in that classroom and the students could access on their computer. So that's our system that we have right now. So we're always trying to make sure, do they have print access, and do they have the digital?
And also just you bring up the one-to-one, the TLA is reviewing that with principals as well of how we're going to continue, whether we're going to continue with that. There's been a lot of research that is something that you may want to look at. You know, are you getting the biggest bang for your buck from an academic achievement standpoint? And so we're looking at that, and we'll look at throughout this first semester, and then probably comes to the board with an idea, because it's going to be a budget related issue, as you just mentioned, in the future.
Yeah, and we worked during our TLA summer event this year. We stole an hour of our teachers' time, and we provided them some of this research about one-to-one, just what's going on, and asking them, like, this is an investment, right? We need to know, is the investment worth it when you look at your classroom? And so we got a lot of their feedback, and we gathered that together this year, so that when we bring the conversations back, we also have the teachers' input. And we also, in our annual student and staff survey, we included questions about the Chromebooks as well. So we've got a lot of data out there on perceptions used and the benefits.
Megan, just want to make sure that I'm understanding this right. So the way the grade scale is set up, so let's say a student gets is getting 3s, a high school student in math gets a 3 for standard 1, a 3 for standard 2, but then at the end of the quarter, the grade is a 2. Can that happen because of the way the grade scale is set up?
If they have the majority of 3s, I don't think that they'd be at a 2, but if they had like 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, it would be like 2.5, because we're going to average across all their standards. So I don't see where if a kid has majority of 3s for their standards where they'd end up with a 2, they would have to have 1s, a 0.
Oh, okay, then I.
In other words, it is averaged out according to the amount, like the numbers that they have, right? 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, whatever. And then you divide it by the number of standards, which is 8 at that time, and then then you get your, your 2 points, whatever, 5, 4, 6.
Just like it's posted.
Yeah, like that, like that, yeah.
Yes.
Like that. Okay, so in other words, there's a student that can have like a 2.7. Can a student have a 2.7 in?
Yeah, they could, but if they have all threes, there's no way they'd have a 2.7, they could have a 3.
They're gonna have it, oh,
They'd have to have ones and zeros.
and ones and zeros, something to that effect, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's true that I don't know. Very simple. He's not even a teacher, right? He makes us look bad.
I like it.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is that, we also need the kids to have, be motivated, right? In other words, because, are we having problems with motivating our kids? I mean, and especially the high school kids, okay?
I mean,
Are we-
countrywide, nationwide, there's been issues with.
There's been issues with that,
I mean, and I would think that's just something we're always trying to uncover as a teacher, right? What's gonna motivate, and from one class to 7th period is like, oh, what am I gonna have to do for,
Yeah, to get them into this, yeah.
and I don't think a grading system itself is necessarily gonna be motivational. It's what's sparking my interest here.
Yeah, like what the teacher brings in too, I guess.
What I would appreciate is if I'm the kid and I'm not motivated, or maybe I think, I can't get a 4. Well, right here, I can see what I need to do on the scale. And I've also been working with our teachers. Can we have exemplars? Like, what would a level 4 piece of writing look like? Not so that we don't want the kid to copy, but so that they can see that is attainable. And so those strategies alone aren't gonna help motivate, but I think when we can show them, no, there is a clear path to success. And then they also have that motivation, within the classroom, I think that can help. But I think it's something that we're probably not alone in experiencing.
And we're probably not gonna get every single student to be motivated.
I wish that was.
Strive.
No, I know.
But I can tell you, I've looked at grades, the number of what would equate to Fs, Bs and Cs is very similar to what it was under the other system.
Yeah.
There is not a big standard deviation.
No, it's not a big change.
From either system. So those teachers that complain, that there's more apathy, just look at the grades from the previous system and it's almost identical. I mean, it's really student engagement and how they're getting students to engage with it. But I think obviously we had a lot of issues coming back from COVID, so there's other things that are related to that. One-to-one, I think there's the engagement with that, and I think sometimes what we did in haste to get to one-to-one is maybe not as trained our teachers as strongly as we needed to be able to use that tool. And so I think that's one of the things, I know Mr. Beach is a big proponent of the using the boards and with the electronic boards that we're now getting, I think 25% now that this coming year. I think that's a better tool to use that along with the Chromebooks. So there's active engagement with those things. So I think it's a lot of things that we need to work on to continue to improve. And I think that the system also encourages students, and it's more like higher ed, to be honest. I mean, higher ed, you get semester grades. I mean, you don't get quarter grades, you get whatever, you get a semester, you get a final exam and probably a research paper or something that you have to accomplish to show that you actually learn, very similar to that. But it's also just really an opportunity for our kids to show the learning. And I think when we first did this, I think we've talked about numerous times, the students that struggled the most were our high achievers, because they could no longer just take that test and just show it. Now they actually have to demonstrate the learning and show that that they've learned it. And so no longer can they just do something and move on. So.
And at our school sites, we are like during PD time, a lot of topics go around student engagement. So there are, teachers will lead PDs, our principals will, coaches. And so it is something that is worked on throughout the year.
Yeah, so I I just wanted to share something. It's simple because it's something that I use for evaluations for employees. And it's pretty much this, right? The proficiency levels, and it's 0 to 4. But one of the things that I wanted to ask is when we went to a system like this, the employees freaked out a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just curious about the feedback you've gotten from students on this type of system.
Yeah, well, and again, we'll get kind of all of it, right? Of some who, oh, it makes sense. And then others might say, oh, well, I miss like adding up points and dividing by a total is super simple, right? But it doesn't always mean that that's the right thing. Or they might have liked that they could get good grades by doing vocabulary work. Well, now vocabulary work will land you at a 2. We need to see more than you knowing your vocabulary. And so, yeah, I think you get a mixed bag there, but I also see connections with the workforce of, you know, when we're evaluated, it's not with points and percentages, right? There's a statement of what I need to do, and then there's a performance level, right, for all of those. And so I also think that it can support that type of, you know, just what am I expected to do? How am I doing with it? And knowing exactly where I can work, what I can work on.
I got one last question. For summer school, if a kid, say out of 10 standards, he mastered 5 of them or whatever, he doesn't have to master those 5 again, right? When he goes to summer school, he just does the 5 standards that he doesn't understand.
I don't know if we're there yet.
No, so we do have, in summer school, we have credit recovery courses.
But not concept recovery.
Not in concept, so so credit recovery courses are reduced, so they don't have to demonstrate proficiency in all. So they do have a reduced list of standards that they work in on the summer, because I mean, the reality is time is different. For the summer school, we use primarily a traditional grading, just because our delivery, and it's so complex, because if I'm a science teacher doing summer school, I might have chemistry, I might have physics, I might have earth science. So the ability to be able to hire a teacher in each area, it's not realistic, you know, in terms of funding. And now, you know, there'll be other things we have to figure out for next summer, now that we, you know, fortunately do not have 21st century, because that was a big way that would pay for it. So the way we have it is, we used to use Ingenuity, now moving to subject.com. They use traditional grading, credit recovery version, and that's, I know it's a program to Beach, but that is what is primarily used to drive summer schools.
Oh, okay. I'm just envisioning the future, if we're going standards based, if he already passed 5, why redo the 5? Just get him in and out.
Yeah, I think that's a next.
You know that, I mean, I think we have some baby steps in that way, because we do have in our platform now with subject.com that we could use prescriptive assessment, meaning if I demonstrate I already have proficiency, then my course is reflective of that. So it means it removes what I've already, because it gets in line with that. You know, why go through the stuff that you already are proficient in? We have some baby steps, but definitely have, you know, some work to do in that area for our summer school.
And in the elementary, where I'm a little more familiar with summer school, it is like the concept the students need, but we don't grade the summer school for elementary kiddos. It's more of like helping them to be able to move to the next grade level. But yeah, there's not a grade involved here, but the teachers do review where are the gaps for the students.
Okay. If I could add very briefly with that in line, another, just for the board information, do know that also for dual enrollment, because there are technically Pima Community College courses, those courses are all graded under traditional. So at the high school level, we have both our dual enrollment courses, because we use a grade book from Pima Community College, and all of our courses that are on the online platforms, those two continue to remain traditional. And that's, we made a very conscious decision not to create conversion scales that are gonna, in essence, you know, why do it if that's the system that is being used to grade the student? So those two areas have kept traditional grading at the high school level.
We no longer have seat time, right? A kid has to be in the seat in our school.
No.
So I wonder if that's leading to problems with attendance. Like Ben and I would show up on Friday, master the standard, and go, well, we'll see you next Thursday. You know,
Why do you need to be there?
you know, exactly. So yeah, I'm wondering if we're seeing a problem with more so at the high school than at the elementary or middle school, where these kids have cars and you know what, I just got to pass the standard. There's no seat time anymore. I wonder if that created a problem for us.
Yeah, I don't know if students know about seat time. And for the majority of students, when they're not there, it does start to impact, right, their grading. But yeah, of course, we're gonna have the kids that can take a test and pass it, but I don't feel like I have enough knowledge to tell you if that's.
We do have the 10-day where after 10 days they're dropped.
Yes.
Okay, so that. I'll shut up now.
You feel more confident now?
Yes, 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 I do, Megan. Thank you so much for taking the time to review this with us, I feel more comfortable with it. I feel that, I understand it a little bit more better than I did before. And the fact that you have the resources on the website is, it's something that I can refer parents to. And the fact that you have it in both English and Spanish makes this just, so much better.
And there's a good one pager on there too, that if you're just more focused on like, how does the grading part work? On our district website, there's a document called proficiency levels, course proficiency levels, and course grades. And it's just a one page, so you see how it all works, kind of what I showed you tonight, but I gave you guys more of the background.
Yeah.
So that's another good one if you start to forget, how does that work? And you can print it off.
Yeah, because that's what, like, a lot, like Alma was saying, a lot of times we get approached by parents that don't understand it, and that's been our,
Yes.
our problem, of course, and stuff. But if we can, guide them and tell them, go look at the website, go look at this, and then actually tell them, okay, there is, something there that will help you, then I think that will, we'll cover it for them and let them understand and stuff. Because, like us, that we haven't been in the classroom for so long, and things have changed, and you're just like, oh, wait a minute, I don't understand this completely. So, and I'm wondering if I don't understand it, then how is a parent going to understand it, So that's what.
Yes.
And it's just wonderful, the fact that the student can actually go in and see.
Yeah,
what
that's.
standard, they didn't do so well at, and they can go, well, they are given the opportunity to go back and. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So in other words, that gives it, that puts back that puts it back on the student. Okay, well, you already, yeah, it's like, you knew what you needed to do because it was there, and, so. All right, well,
Thank you.
thank you very much for your, does anybody else have anything to say for Miss, thank you so much for everything, I appreciate it, thank you. Let me see what's next. Okay, superintendent's report, Mr. Verdugo.
Thank you. As the summer winds down, we had all new teachers and long-term substitutes report last week. I'll go through. I just wanted to thank Megan and PLA for all their work, and principals and all their work, getting new people to the team incorporated and trained this week. And it was first day for all teachers. So
all teachers.
So everybody's back today. Or yesterday, I'm sorry.
Yesterday.
These flow together for me.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the new year, and just a reminder, this Friday is our welcome back, and look forward to having everybody there. This past, actually yesterday, I was in Wisconsin. I was able to speak at the Wisconsin Eau Claire Leadership Summit. I was invited, my brother who's the vice president there, so it was nice to represent the district there and share our success and what we're doing, and hopefully recruit some people to come this way. It seems like we very good job of being pressure sometimes, but haven't had a few in a long time, so hopefully we can get back to getting them to come out here, especially today was 99% humidity, I think, so it was one of the hottest days they've had. So I said it's a dry heat in Arizona. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Also wanted to thank, I know we had talked a little bit briefly about it, but I want to thank Angie and Audra for all their work, and all the principals for all the work with the Back to School Blitz, and everybody that was involved with that, the team that did that. Angie, do you have the exact number of how many kids we were able to give it?
Yes, we handed out 615 backpacks with supplies.
Yeah, so I mean,
last year.
Yeah, so it was great. Thank CTMS for hosting this year. We had to change because of all the construction that was happening at Calabasas. So it went very well, but it's something that our community really appreciates. for all the support. And I know some other districts do it and only for certain students. We do it for our entire school district. And so seeing all of the kids show up and get that, it's just a great thing. And then also just one last time to thank Audra for the lifeguards and all the work they put in this summer. It's just been great to see all the pictures all the time of the kids out there swimming, drive by, see all the kids swimming. So we're just excited that we can continue to do that and really support our families with that. So that's it. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you very much. Moving on, Governing Board Member Report, Ms. Alma de la Riva.
Yes, thank you. I attended the ASPO conference. It was last week or the week before.
Yeah.
Before that. Enjoyed it. It's the type of conference where you'll not only learn, but you also have fun.
Yes.
And I wanted to thank Gisela because she gave us some suggestions. She gave her input as to which, because it's so hard. They offer so many conferences that it's hard to, pick and choose which ones are, but she gave us some suggestions and I wanted to thank her for that because I do feel that we learned from that and it's going to be like beneficial as board members for us. And that's what we were looking for. So, and that's it for me.
Thank you, Mr. Beach.
Yeah, it looks like we're already up and moving as a district. Look at, John's like fried. Look at that. He's done. Day two. Go on, John. Yeah, but let's make it a good year. We're up and running and it looks like we got a lot of experienced teachers at San Cayetano. I don't know if you stole them or they volunteered to come over.
I stole.
Did you? There you go. But you got some good ones over there and hopefully all positions are filled by now and off to the races next week.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Absolutely. Mr. Guerrero.
Yeah, I have nothing to report. Thank you.
Nothing? Okay, me, same thing. I was also part of the ASBO conference and like Ms. Alma de la Riva said, yes, we wanted to thank Ms. Gisela Brown because she did tell us to go to some, to certain sessions, yeah, meetings or whatever, and they had really good speakers too. They had the one that we really liked, which was up in Flagstaff. Oh my God, he's just an amazing person. I just thought it was just really, really good to hear him because it motivates you and it just, you just learn so much. But anyway, she picked out some of the classes for us and I really wanted to thank her because it really opened our eyes on a lot of things. And when you have like, when you understand something, but then it's not really exactly, and then somebody tells you what was in the middle and you're like, oh, that's why it works, ¿verdad? We were like, oh, okay, I get it. This is why this and this and this happens. So, so we did, and plus we had a lot of fun. They have a lot of vendors and I got a bunch of junk with which I miss Mr. Brad Beach, okay, for helping me carry up all my stuff and I Mr. Fatman and Mr. Verdugo. But this year I had a little cart, okay? So I got a little cart, so I didn't need anybody. So it was really fun for me. Okay, I had a lot of fun. And again, just congratulations to all of the, to the principals and again, like Mr. Beach said, I hope that everybody has all of their people there, all of their teachers, and you guys are ready to go. And just let's make this a great year. Really, let's make it a fantastic year. And that's it. Thank you. Thank you. All right, and then moving on, information, discussion, action, Santa Cruz Valley Unified School District policies, Mr. Verdugo.
Thank you. Wanted to make sure we review our policies before we actually start the school year.
Yeah.
Because I know during our site visits, there's always questions about things such as dress code. So that's one of the things that we wanted to review for the board and make any adjustments as needed based on the board's input. Policies and our job is to then implement some. Turn over to Dr. Linderville.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board. Tonight we are reviewing policy 5302, which is student attire. This should be familiar to all of you who've spent quite some time over the last couple of years reviewing it, making sure that it encompassed everything that the board would like. So I don't know if anyone has anything specific they'd like to go through. I'm not going to read it.
They did change the part about, remember what they said that you know, the girls, it said if they, it doesn't show the straps, but then they wear strapless.
I think that was when I came back in, March, and we talked about tube tops and spaghetti straps. That would be under bullet 4.
Bullet 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, expose the.
We also talked about undergarments and undergarment areas because there were concerns about students exposing their shoulders with bra straps.
Yeah, that's kind of like where that one goes, right? That would be it, okay, okay.
So I'd like to ask the board, I can see tube tops, halter tops. But I know a lot of summer dresses do have spaghetti straps. And I have no qualms with them wearing a dress with little spaghetti straps. It's just, I don't know if it's in style, but I do see them around town. So I don't know if the board, is that inappropriate, or you want to keep it on there, or take the spaghetti straps off? I don't know. I mean,
I do think it's important to know that fashion is a cyclical, like it goes in a cycle. So a lot of us right now are seeing things from the late 90s to early 2000s kind of come back. The midriffs, the wide leg pants, the Martens, that kind of stuff.
Hip hugger.
So, I mean, spaghetti straps are fairly popular. I think our administration does a good job of identifying not just female students, but students in general who are pushing the boundaries of the definition. I think for some of the board members as well, last year you had commented that you felt like it was really important for the teachers to also enforce because we're not going to see all 1,400. And I think Mr. Lopez has created a kind of a uniform system on how that's presented to teachers. That's just a few things to keep in mind, that next year we may be having a conversation about something that's coming back from the 80s. I mean, it just kind of goes in a cycle.
so you want to just keep it on there, the spaghetti straps, and
Just, I mean, again, it has to be also there's spaghetti straps and then there's spaghetti straps, right? Okay.
I didn't know that.
Okay, I mean, really, okay, let's say what it is, there's some girls that we tell them, okay, that, oh, they can wear, whatever. But then it's like so low cut and you're like, my God, you're popping out of there, whatever, and
That's where I think the administration.
that's what I'm saying, okay? It has to be at the discretion, not only of the administrators, and if a teacher thinks that was inappropriate in her classroom or in his classroom, whatever, and they send it up to the office, and then the administrator says like, well, wait a minute, that's, that to me, it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's something that, that, because some of these girls and some of the boys too, okay, they push it, okay, they really do. I mean, they go up to the office and they'll push it up and they'll, but once they get out of the office, then it's back to what it was, where it was offensive. Okay, and stuff. So that is the only thing that I think we're trying to do this is that, and I know that the girls last year that they were angry and that they were wearing the pink with, and all of this other stuff that they were saying and, all that stuff. But when you go into the classrooms and then you see, okay, and you've got, 2 or 3 little boys that are just like, and you know what they're looking at. And it just, they're being distracted and stuff. And I just think that's the part where,
we can keep it in bullet 1, sort of as encompasses all.
I tried to make some, I think Mr. Beach and Mr. Ramirez helped create that definition when we started this process. I think if it's disruptive, it affects our ability to maintain order or decorum, and then, we can follow.
Okay, sounds good thing.
Yeah.
So no recommended changes then?
No.
I think fine. Does anybody have anything, do you see anything that you would like to change?
I just feel that, no, I thought maybe spaghettis, I thought the bra showing was the issue
The
more
issue,
than the spaghetti.
more than the
strap.
spaghetti strap, really, again, and
I feel if it's the spaghetti strap, as long as the bra straps are not showing or then maybe, but
Mhm.
again,
And again, it goes back to bullet one where it's the discretion of.
Oh.
exactly.
Uh-huh. Is this distracting? Is this, are they pushing it? Okay, because, some young ladies, they look beautiful. They look really good with what they've got on. And, and they're not even in dress code, but they make it look good. Whereas we have, the other side and you're just like, oh my God, really. Those are the things, and I don't wanna, make it like, like we don't want the kids to dress, comfortable or to be in, what's going around and whatever, but sometimes, what's going around is a little bit too much, I think.
And I agree, and as far as, as a parent, I believe strongly that there's a place and time
For
everything, they do look beautiful, they were pretty dresses or pretty, but there's a time and place to wear them. And if we have to follow, our world is made of rules. And we have to start, school has rules and we need to follow those rules.
I'm just, yeah. Okay,
We don't need a motion if we're not.
we don't need a motion? All right,
I think we changes.
we're not making any change. Alrighty, fantastic. Anything else? What do we?
Yeah, so the next policy is 3204, booster.
Oh, yeah, the
organization.
boosters? Mhm.
Yeah, so Renan would, the one who brought this forward, she's not here tonight, but we'll present that as well.
Okay.
And in previous board policies, we had a booster policy. And then when we transitioned over, for whatever reason, it didn't make it into our new policies. And we wanted to make sure, just because that we have one, because annually they should be part of our audit. And so they, even though we don't control what they do, how they spend their money, it's just for us to share with our auditors that we actually have a policy that oversees them in case there are issues. Because there have been times when, hopefully it doesn't happen, but when a board or a board member of the booster organization takes the money, and then there's no recourse because they're not under our policy. So this allows us to then possibly pursue something legally with that, because when it's not under us and they're out on their own, it's happened before, where they start spending personal funds from the booster club, and then there's no recourse for it.
Yeah.
And so we just want to make sure that we have a policy that oversees that, make sure that the board recognizes the booster clubs annually moving forward, and then also at the end of the year, they present their financials to the auditors.
Okay. Okay, so that's just like an FYI.
No, this one is a request for approval of it, and then the procedure is you don't need to, that's just how we're gonna implement and enforce. So
So do we need a motion?
a motion to approve
Do
this
we have a
policy.
motion?
Alma?
Motion to review and approve policy 5-302, student attire.
No.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This one down.
Policy 3204.
Yes.
Booster.
Booster organizations as presented.
Okay,
Second.
second, okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes.
And then again, the rest of it, we're just FYI, is how we would implement.
This is how it would,
Yes.
so we can go in and look at those
Yeah,
later
we
on.
did go-
Okay.
Yep.
Alrighty, we're moving on. Propose and prioritize topics and possible dates and times for future board meetings, Mr. Verdugo.
I guess our next board meeting is August 11th.
August.
The Trust Summit, August 27th. And then again, the ASBA conference will be September 9th through 11th. And for that week, I don't have it on this agenda, but I'll bring it back for our August 11th meeting. Because our request that we move that to a morning meeting if possible on September 8th. because of the travel related to the conference. And so we'll bring that back. Any other future topic items that the board would like to request?
Any future topics, Ms. Rivera?
I have none.
No,
I have
Mr.
none.
Gates, no, Mr. Rivera? I don't either, so okay, we move on. Do we have to make a motion on this one? No.
I just noticed Angie had put it on there. Yeah.
I did add it here for.
It's okay. Yeah, so Angie did put it on there, so I didn't see it.
But, we could table it till
Yeah, we can table it.
closer to the date.
Yes, that'd work.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Beach.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Beach. Okay. Consent agenda. Okay, moving on. Approve of the consent agenda. Any matter on the consent agenda will be removed from the consent agenda and discussed as regular agenda item or items upon the request of any board member. Do we have any more?
I have none.
Nothing? Do you have anything?
I have none.
Nothing? I don't either. Do we have a yes?
I did have a request to remove the Jessica Kuhn.
Oh, yeah, that would be this one.
Yes, on under the new part.
In the parts, that would be number 12.
Well, yeah, just Jessica Kuhn.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve the consent agenda with the requested change.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes, and we are adjourned. Oh,
So it's we need to approve Jessica.
we have to, sure,
Okay.
all right.
So the reason I wanted to, I wanted to just clarify for the board, that we're back in position, because I know that, it's not, we have transparency. Done, previously, Mr. Fanning's position was consolidated. And we asked Audra to really stretch herself. Thank God for she's been able to do, but we want her to focus on communications. And so, the reason that it worked all back and it's tied to the override, and it's one of the highlight how important funding is coming from. It's just going back into the override, is because we need, as we continue to move forward with our facilities, additional support for that. And so that's what we will be doing. And, know that she was working for us, and then the city Department of Recreation Director had left that position, and we're now bringing her back into a similar role for us, where she'll oversee the new weight room, the pool, and assist with facilities, as well as assist with our recreation of elementary, that we're working with our K-8 coordinator to develop intramurals, which we were hoping to do last year, but we got sidetracked. So we're hoping to bring that this year. So she'll assist, especially with her experience. So that's why I just wanted to highlight for the board that this position is coming in, and it's at the same level that Mr. Fanning was at before. So it's a lower level position on our scale. So she, before she's taken a significant pay cut coming from the city to us, but we're very fortunate to have her. And we're excited about the opportunity what it'll bring to our district and our community, because now we'll have somebody designated to really oversee the weight room and the pool year round, because that's the goal as well, as we want it to be open for the community year round.
And what is it?
Any questions? Miss Jessica Kuhn. So any questions that I can answer about that? Because I'd highlight that for the board.
Any questions? Any questions about that one, Mr. B?
No, not at all.
No, I don't either.
So then we just need to approve it.
Okay, so we approve it. Okay, a motion? Do we have an emotion?
Move to approve number 12 on the E-Pars.
Yes.
Control on E-Parts?
Yeah, Jessica Kuhn.
A second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. And now we adjourn. I'm sorry. And it's 6:18. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.